She didn't want everyone to look down on her. She didn't want to become a despised outcast, shunned and living in the shadows. But Lu Huizhua couldn't bear to see her live in the light. He wanted to cruelly strip away every ounce of brightness in her life. Inside the private room, silence reigned. No one had spoken yet, but she could already imagine the scornful, disdainful looks Lin Yichen and the others would soon cast her way. She wasn't brave enough after all. She wasn't brave enough after all. She didn't want to face the contempt of so many people. Right now, she just wanted to flee in disgrace. She reached to take Xiao Shun from Lin Yichen's arms, ready to carry her away from this place that had brought her such humiliation. But before she could, Lin Yichen slammed the wine bottle on the table, shattering it. His eyes, usually filled with cheerful warmth, were now icy with anger as he glared at Lu Huizhua. His eyes, usually filled with cheerful warmth, were now icy with anger as he glared at Lu Huizhua. Lu San apologized to Su Su. Tang Su turned sharply toward him, stunned. She had expected hatred, disdain, but never protection like this, demanding an apology for her sake. Lin Ershao. Dazed, Tang Su couldn't even describe what she was feeling. She could only stare at Lin Yichen, her eyes glistening. Lin Yichen gently set Xiao Shun onto a nearby seat. Then, with sudden force, he pulled Tang Su into his arms, so tightly it felt like he wanted to fuse her into his body. His voice rang clearly in her ear, stronger than any vow ever spoken. Suso, I told him, I am here. I won't let anyone hurt you. Lu San apologized to Su Su. Lu San apologized to Su Su. A single tear slipped down Tang Su's cheek, then another. She gazed at the man before her. His youthful, cherubic face always made him look younger than he was. Even though they were both 22, she had never truly seen him as a grown man, more like a boy. But seeing him so close now, standing up for her like this, she realized he had become a real man, strong and unwavering. Seeing her cry, Lin Yichen panicked. Clumsily, he wiped her tears, whispering softly, Su Su, don't cry, don't cry. Anything you want, I'll do it. My heart is yours. My life is yours. Just stop crying, please. Tang Su thought crying so easily was overly sentimental. She wiped her tears fiercely and tried to pull away. Lin Ershao, I'm fine. You're too good to me. It feels so warm. Silly girl. I love you. Why wouldn't I treat you well? Lu Huizhua narrowed his eyes dangerously, fixed on Lin Yichen's hand resting on Tang Su's waist. For some reason, that hand burned his vision. Without thinking, he stood up, driven by an urge to break it. Lin Yanyan, fearing another outburst over Tang Su, grabbed his hand, pleading, Huizhua. But he ignored her completely. He strode forward and seized Lin Yichen's wrist. Lu San, let go. Are you insane? Lin Yichen had already been annoyed with Lu Huizhua tonight, and now this unprovoked attack pushed him over the edge. He swung his free fist straight at Lu Huizhua's face, but Lu Huizhua was faster and fiercer. Before Lin Yichen could land a blow, his punch sent Lin Yichen's handsome face snapping sideways. Seeing Lin Yichen get hurt because of her, Tang Su was overwhelmed with guilt. She rushed to stand protectively in front of him, anxiously asking, Lin Ershao, are you okay? Does it hurt? Let's go to the hospital. Lu Huizhua stared at Tang Su's worried face, his own expression darkening. His fists clenched tightly, knuckles cracking, as if ready to unleash chaos. Gu Qin and Bo Qing were famously indifferent, but even they couldn't stay passive while their closest friends turned on each other. Gu Qin glanced at Bo Qing and spoke first, trying to mediate. Lu San, Lin, enough. The food hasn't even arrived yet. Let's play something fun instead. With that, he pulled out a deck of cards and a small, elegant box from behind him. Let's play truth or dare. Loser picks a challenge from the box and does it. Without waiting for objections, he dragged Lin Yichen and Lu Huizhua back to their seats. Lin Yichen was still furious, but Xiao Shen was still in the room. He didn't want to scare the child, so he reluctantly agreed to play along. Lin Yichen thought his luck was terrible. On the first round, he lost badly. But when he drew his dare, he suddenly felt like the luckiest man alive. The slip of paper read, Kiss someone in the room. There were only 2 women present. Lin Yanyan was his sister. No one would allow that, which meant it had to be Tang Su. Lin Yichen rubbed his hands together, heart pounding. Tang Su had always rejected him, but they said kissing deepened feelings. One passionate kiss tonight, and they'd be bound for life. A kiss. Gu Qin glanced at the paper in Lin Yichen's hand, then deliberately looked at Tang Su. One person can't kiss themselves. Who's willing to help Lin out? I'm not doing it, Bo Qing said flatly, barely lifting his eyes. My tastes aren't that extreme. Mine neither, Gu Qin added casually. Lin Yichen's smile widened. He turned to Tang Su, feigning hesitation. Su Su, none of them will help. What should I do? Before she could answer, he eagerly added, Su Su, how about you help me out? Miss Tang, why don't you help Lin? Gu Qin raised an eyebrow, clearly enjoying the drama. If he doesn't complete the task, he'll have to run naked through Haiqing tonight. Can you really bear to see him humiliate himself in front of the whole city? Tang Su had intended to refuse, but after hearing Gu Chen's words, she couldn't bring herself to say no. She didn't want to cooperate with Lin Chen, but she also couldn't bear to see him disgraced in public. After a long internal struggle, she decided to go along with it. Just a game, just a kiss. It wouldn't cost her anything. She could clarify things afterward. Lin Xiaoao. Before Tang Su could finish, Lu Huizhua spoke coldly, expressionless. I'll do it. Tang Su, that bastard child, whose offspring exactly is she? Uffed! Lin Chen had just taken a sip of red wine, trying to gather courage for the kiss he was about to share with Tang Su. But before he could even swallow, Lu Huizhua suddenly said those words, startling him so badly that he spat the wine out immediately. Lu San, what did you just say? My ears must be playing tricks on me. I think I'm hallucinating. Did you just say you're going to cooperate with me? You're not hallucinating, Lu Huizhua replied, his expression completely flat. I'll cooperate with you. This time, Lin Chen was so shocked he barely dared to breathe. He forced a nervous laugh. Lu San, this joke isn't funny at all. I'm not joking. As he spoke, Lu Huizhua stepped right in front of Lin Chen. I'm not joking. As he spoke, Lu Huizhua stepped right in front of Lin Chen. Let's begin. Begin my ass. Lin Chen nearly cursed aloud. He wanted to kiss his Su. How could he possibly want to kiss some disgusting older man? But the game rules clearly stated that once someone offered cooperation, the punished party couldn't refuse. Gritting his teeth, Lin Chen fiercely planted a kiss on Lu Huizhua. The moment it ended, Lin Chen violently turned his head aside and began retching uncontrollably. Kissing a man, this was way too much. After finishing, his body suddenly stiffened. A sudden realization struck him. Lu San's behavior on set had been strange lately. He'd openly said that he and Tang Su weren't compatible. Yet tonight, seeing him and Tang Su acting so harmoniously, Lu Huizhua kept targeting her. And now, when he himself had intended to kiss Tang Su, Lu Huizhua had swooped in and forced him into kissing him instead. Before, Lin Chen couldn't understand why Lu Huizhua kept targeting Tang Su. But connecting the dots from recent events, everything finally made sense. There was only one explanation. Lu San had broken past gender boundaries. He was deeply, madly, hopelessly in love with him. Lin Chen felt torn. He didn't want to lose Lu Huizhua, his childhood best friend who'd grown up practically sharing the same pair of pants. But there was no way he could give up Tang Su for him. He frowned painfully. Being too attractive was truly agonizing, wasn't it? Tang Su was utterly stunned by the sight of Lin Chen and Lu Huizhua kissing. She knew Lu Huizhua didn't want her getting intimate with Lin Chen, but she didn't believe it was because he cared for her. It was simply male possessiveness, twisted and warped. A sudden metallic taste rose in her throat. She'd been coughing up blood more frequently these days. She knew another episode was coming. Fearing Xiaoshan might see, she quickly excused herself and rushed out of the private room toward the restroom. Lin Chen seized the chance while Tang Su was gone to have an honest talk with Lu Huizhua. Now was the perfect time to lay everything bare. Lu San, I know how you feel about me, Lin Chen began solemnly. Lu Huizhua remained outwardly calm, but inwardly, he was utterly bewildered. What feelings did he have for Lin Er? He had no idea. Lin Chen let out a heavy sigh. Lu San, ask yourself honestly, do you think it's right to harbor such improper feelings for me? How could you face my sister? I know I'm handsome, charming, irresistible, but we're both men. If we were together, we'd never experience the joys between man and woman. Don't you understand? We can't be together. Let me be straight. My heart belongs only to Su. I'm not interested in you. No matter how much you love me, I'll never abandon Su for you. From now on, put away those inappropriate thoughts. And stop targeting my precious girl and Su just because you like me. If you can control your feelings, we can still remain brothers. But if you can't, if you keep losing control, I'll have no choice but to cut ties with you. After hearing Lin Chen's entire speech, Lu Huizhua finally understood. After hearing Lin Chen's entire speech, Lu Huizhua finally understood. After hearing Lin Chen's entire speech, Lu Huizhua finally understood. He actually thought he had feelings for him. Being kissed by Lin Chen had already darkened Lu Huizhua's expression. After hearing this, his handsome face turned as black as an approaching storm cloud. Lin Chen, thinking his rejection had wounded Lu San's fragile heart and driven him to rage, cleared his throat awkwardly and said with difficulty, Lu San, don't take it so hard. I really just think we wouldn't work as a couple. Get out! Suppressing a powerful wave of nausea, Lu Huizhua stood abruptly and strode coldly out of the private room. Lin Chen sat frozen in place, feeling helpless and wronged as he turned to Gu Chen and Bo Qing. What should I do? I think I've seriously hurt Lu San. Do you think he might do something drastic? But rejecting him was unavoidable. No matter how deep our brotherhood runs, I can't possibly be with another man. But rejecting him was unavoidable. No matter how deep our brotherhood runs, I can't possibly be with another man. Desperate for support, he asked, "Gudabo Lu, don't you agree with me?" Gu Chen and Bo Qing exchanged a glance, then silently decided to ignore Lin Er, their friend whose IQ had officially dropped below 0. Getting no response from his friends, Lin Yichen turned to Lin Yanyan. That single glance sent a jolt through him. Lin Yanyan's usually gentle, kind face was now grotesquely twisted with intense hatred. Lin Yichen shivered. Though he genuinely disliked his sister, he knew he was in the wrong for stealing Lu Huaizua's heart. Still, he decided to comfort her. "Sis, I'm sorry. I never expected Lu Sin had ulterior motives toward me. Don't worry, I'll make sure to convince him. He won't betray you." "Humph." Lin Yanyan stormed off angrily, heels clicking as she stormed out of the room. Lin Yichen stood dazed in the wind. Being too handsome really wasn't easy, appealing to everyone, yet ending up alienating everyone around him. As soon as Tang Su rushed into the restroom, a large mouthful of blood gushed from her lips. After catching her breath inside a stall for a while, she stepped out, splashed cold water on her face at the sink, and swallowed several pills before finally feeling slightly better. The doctor had warned her that only one pill should be taken at a time, more would accelerate her body's deterioration. But now, one pill had no effect at all. She had no choice but to take more. Suddenly, she lost all sensation in her legs. She clung tightly to the sink, standing motionless for a long time before she could barely move them again. Thinking of terminal cancer patients slowly rotting away in bed, helplessly waiting for death, a chill crept through her heart. Would she, too, gradually deteriorate until she couldn't even move during her final days? That kind of life, trapped in bed, unable to do anything, not even able to manage her own bodily functions, merely waiting to die, would be unbearable. She wasn't afraid of death, but she feared reaching a point where even dying became something she couldn't choose. Lost in gloomy thoughts, she turned around, only to feel a sharp pain in her head as she crashed heavily into a man's chest. Not wanting trouble, she hurried to apologize. But before she could speak, a rough hand clamped around her neck. "Tang Su, tell me, whose bastard child exactly is that?" A torment that had killed her heart, Tang Su gave a bitter smile. Again with the choking, how utterly unoriginal. Exhausted, Tang Su closed her eyes slowly, then opened them again. She truly had no strength left to deal with Lu Huaizhua. Right now, she didn't even feel like eating. All she wanted was to take Xiao Shin home and collapse into bed for a long sleep. "Speak!" Lu Huaizhua's eyes burned red, like a beast feasting on blood and flesh. It seemed that if Tang Su didn't give him a satisfactory answer, he would devour her alive in the next second. "Tang Su, is that bastard child Jinghao's or Lin Er's?" His hands trembled uncontrollably from rage, veins bulging on the back of his hands, making him appear even more vicious and monstrous than before. His hands trembled uncontrollably from rage, veins bulging on the back of his hands, making him appear even more vicious and monstrous than before. Until now, Lu Huaizhua had always believed Xiao Shen was Jinghao's child. But tonight, after Lu Yichen claimed the boy was his son, and seeing how strikingly similar their faces were, he suddenly wasn't so sure anymore. The thought that 4 years ago, Tang Su had not only seduced Jinghao but also Lin Yichen, and behind his back had countless other men, made Lu Huaizhua want nothing more than to flay the woman before him alive. "Jinghao, Lin Yichen." Tang Su found Lu Huaizhua's question absolutely absurd. He believed Xiao Shen belonged to any man but him. How ridiculous! "Mr. Lu, since you don't acknowledge Xiao Shen, what does it matter whose child he is to you?" Her indifferent attitude infuriated Lu Huaizhua so much he nearly exploded on the spot. His grip around her throat tightened abruptly. "Tang Su, that bastard looks just like Lin Er. He's Lin Er's son, isn't he?" The first time Lu Huaizhua choked her, it had hurt terribly. But pain had become so frequent it had numbed her. Even as he strangled her until she could barely make a sound, Tang Su felt no pain at all, only an overwhelming exhaustion that made her too weary to even move. Truthfully, she didn't know why Xiao Shen resembled Lin Yichen so much. Perhaps it was fate, possibly mere coincidence. But she couldn't be bothered to explain any of this to Lu Huaizhua. Lazily, she flicked her eyelids open and forced out a strained voice. "Mr. Lu, you're really overstepping your bounds. We're divorced. My life has nothing to do with you anymore. Back then, you always told me not to humiliate myself. Now I tell you the same, don't humiliate yourself either. When I loved you, you were my everything. When I stopped loving you, you became nothing. Azwa, I don't love you anymore. So now what are you to me? Nothing at all." "Tang Su, say that again." Tang Su opened her mouth to keep from suffocating, gasping for air before resuming her mocking expression. Even with Lu Huaizhua's hand around her throat, disheveled and broken, she carried an aloof, world-weary dignity, one that could not be crushed. "Mr. Lu," I said, "what are you to me?" "Nothing. Since you're nothing, please stop stalking me from now on. Let's part ways cleanly. Neither of us should keep humiliating ourselves. Bang! Lu Huizhua kicked open the door to the men's restroom nearby. A man hastily pulled up his pants, too frightened to lift his head, and scurried downstairs in a panic. Seeing the restroom now empty, Lu Huizhua yanked Tang Su inside with brute force. Tang Su didn't want to go, but her strength was no match for his. Before she realized it, she was already slammed against the door. With a loud clang, Lu Huizhua locked the restroom door from the inside. Mr. Lu, let me out. Trapped in such a place, Tang Su's anxiety reached its peak. Desperately, she tried to unlock the door, but before she could succeed, Lu Huizhua seized her wrist tightly, so painfully tight she couldn't move at all. Instinctively, Tang Su curled her body, trying to ease the pain. But the agony in her wrist only intensified. She didn't know what was wrong with her body. She had already taken several painkillers earlier, yet her stomach began to ache again. Cold sweat poured down her forehead from the pain. It was so intense her consciousness started to blur. She mumbled weakly, Mr. Lu, let me out. I need to go find. Xiaoshen was still in the private room. She needed to find him. But before she could finish, her stomach twisted violently. The pain stole her breath completely. Lu Huizhua, however, assumed her urgency meant she wanted to run to Lin Yichen. Enraged beyond reason, he roughly pinned her shoulders. Tang Su, dreaming of going to Lin Air? Not a chance. With that, he leaned down fiercely and bit her lips almost savagely. After knowing Lu Huizhua for so long, she knew exactly what he intended to do next. She struggled desperately, refusing to let him have his way. Every time he tormented her, her clothes never remained intact. If he did something like this here, and she walked out battered and disheveled, how could she face Xiaoshen? She couldn't bear the thought of her beloved son looking down on her, thinking his mother was dirty. Mr. Lu, let me go. Suddenly remembering something, Tang Su cried out, Mr. Lu, we're divorced. You can't treat me like this anymore. Yes, we're divorced. Lu Huizhua frowned. Although he was the one who initiated the divorce, hearing Tang Su repeat those words stung his ears unbearably. Suppressing the inexplicable irritation in his chest, Lu Huizhua sneered coldly, You're just a cheap whore available to anyone. What? Does a transaction require a marriage certificate? With that, he pulled out a thick stack of cash from his wallet and threw it hard into Tang Su's face. 2,000 yuan overpaying for you. Crimson 100 yuan bills scattered across the floor. Tang Su froze. Her gaze wandered blankly over the fallen money. To her, each bright red bill transformed into a bloody, sharp blade, stabbing into her heart again and again, leaving it torn and unrecognizable. Desperate pain once again engulfed Tang Su's body. Numbly, she stared at the pristine white door in front of her. Then, suddenly, all expression vanished from her face. No tears, no laughter, only the hollow emptiness of a walking corpse. By treating her like this in public, Lu Huizhua had stripped her of even the right to be human. Su. Hearing Lin Yichen's anxious voice outside the door, Tang Su's eyes grew even more vacant, devoid of any focus. If Lin Yichen saw what Lu Huizhua was doing to her in the men's restroom, or worse, if Lin Yichen had come with Xiaoshen. Su. As frantic pounding echoed against the door, Tang Su closed her eyes in despair. In that moment, cloaked in utter desolation, she felt as though she had already died. Her distress was laid bare. Mr. Lu, please let me go. Tang Su's voice was hoarse and broken, like that of a dying old woman. She murmured as if in a dream, Let me go. Su. Lin Yichen twisted the doorknob, but the door still wouldn't open. He knew the men's restroom had been locked from the inside. He pounded on the door harder, even kicking it fiercely several times. But the door was built too solidly. Despite putting all his strength into it, the tightly shut door didn't budge. Lin Yichen was frantic. After Tang Su left the private room, Lu Huizhua had followed shortly after. At that moment, a bad feeling had stirred in his heart. After handing Xiaoshen over to Gu Chen, he had left the room himself. He called Tang Su, but no one answered. He'd asked a female server to check the women's restroom for him. She wasn't there either. This locked men's restroom door only intensified his growing dread. He knew how ruthless Lu Huizhua could be. Because of him, Lu Huizhua had always targeted Tang Su. Who knew what he might do to her inside that restroom? What if, to eliminate his rival, Lu Huizhua simply killed Tang Su? Lin Yichen was beside himself with anxiety, feeling like a calamitous beauty bringing disaster upon the world. Lu San, I know you're in there. Lin Yichen continued pounding on the door. Lu San, calm down. Don't hurt Su. Open this door now. He kept banging for a while, but there was no response. Losing patience, he went straight to the manager of Niao Qinghuan to demand the key. The key wasn't with the hotel manager. By the time he finally got it after running back and forth, More than half an hour had passed. Lin Yichen clutched the key tightly in his hand, his palms already damp with sweat. He was terrified. What if, when he opened the door, he found Tang Su's lifeless body? Gripping the key, just as he was about to unlock the door, it suddenly swung open from the inside. Before he could react, Lu Huaizhuo emerged, impeccably dressed, exuding noble grace. Before he could react, Lu Huaizhuo emerged, impeccably dressed, exuding noble grace. And there, trembling and curled up in the corner, was Tang Su, utterly disheveled. Su! Lin Yichen rushed in. Tang Su's clothes weren't torn as badly as they'd been that time in Lu Lane, but clear signs of forceful tearing were still evident. Seeing the shocking red marks on her exposed skin, even though Lin Yichen had never had a girlfriend before, he understood exactly what must have happened in that restroom moments ago. At the sound of Lin Yichen's voice, Tang Su numbly lifted her face. Being caught right after being violated by Lu Huaizhuo filled her with unbearable shame. Yet at the same time, she felt secretly relieved. Thankfully, Xiaoshen hadn't come with Lin Yichen. Meeting Lin Yichen's bloodshot eyes, Tang Su quickly turned her face away. Right now, she didn't know how to face him. She truly liked Lin Yichen as a friend. Sometimes, she couldn't help but see him as family. She truly liked Lin Yichen as a friend. Sometimes, she couldn't help but see him as family. Thinking about how much he would now despise and look down on her made her already numb heartache anew. Before, she had lost all dignity trying to earn money in front of Lu Huaizhuo. But in front of the few people she cared about, Xiaoshen, Qin Mayan, Jing Mo, and now Lin Yichen, she wanted to preserve at least some dignity. So, Iamsari, it came too late. Lin Yichen took off his jacket and gently wrapped it around Tang Su. Thinking of Lu Huaizhuo's cruelty, he gritted his teeth in rage. That beast Lu San. I'll kill him. With those words, Lin Yichen turned and stormed out of the restroom, radiating fury. Second young Master Lin. Tang Su spoke softly. I have one request. Please take Xiaoshen home. I don't want him to see me like this. Lin Yichen's heart clenched. He abruptly turned back and pulled Tang Su tightly into his arms. There was no romantic ambiguity, only the deep pain and concern of family. So, iam so sari. Lin Yichen whispered repeatedly. Usually so carefree, in this moment, he felt a pain so sharp it pierced his very soul. He ached for the woman in his arms. Tang Su froze. She had thought that upon seeing her in such a pitiful state, Lin Yichen would look down on her, disgusted, and push her aside. She never expected him to keep apologizing, or to hold her so tenderly. Su, I'll arrange for someone to take Xiaoshen back to the hospital, Lin Yichen said gently as he carefully scooped Tang Su into his arms, cradling her like a fragile porcelain doll. Su, I'll arrange for someone to take Xiaoshen back to the hospital, Lin Yichen said gently as he carefully scooped Tang Su into his arms, cradling her like a fragile porcelain doll. Su, I'll take you home. Tang Su felt she had troubled Lin Yichen enough already, and didn't want to burden him further. But she also had to admit, being taken home by him was far better than trying to hail a taxi in her current condition. So she didn't refuse, allowing him to carry her to his car. She had a father, yet from childhood to adulthood, she had never experienced paternal love. All the affection from the Tang family had gone to Lin Nianian. She truly couldn't understand why her biological parents doted on Lin Nianian endlessly while treating her with nothing but contempt. She had long believed she'd never again receive the kind of brotherly or fatherly care she'd missed. Yet nestled in Lin Yichen's arms now, strangely, she felt that missing, yearned for warmth suddenly fill her completely. Being seen like this by Lin Yichen tonight was deeply humiliating. Once in the car, Tang Su had no idea what to say. No matter what she said, it wouldn't erase the embarrassment and shame weighing on her heart. Lin Yichen remained silent too. His usually cheerful, boyish face was uncharacteristically serious, etched with heavy anger and sorrow. Just when she thought he would stay quiet the whole way, he suddenly spoke. Su, let's get married. Tang Su lifted her face in disbelief. She never expected Lin Yichen to propose to her so suddenly. She didn't want to reopen her wounds, but having come this far, she felt she needed to make certain things clear to Lin Yichen. Second young Master Lin, I can't be with you. Don't tell me again that you're not good enough for me, that I deserve a better girl. Lin Yichen interrupted passionately. I've told you, I believe you're the best girl for me. No matter that you've been married, had a child, or been harmed by others, in my heart, you'll always be pure, untouched Su. Su, marry me. Let me take care of you, protect you, shield you from every storm. Will you? Second young Master Lin, I can't be with you. Tang Su paused, then continued. Second young Master Lin, do you know who my ex-husband is? My ex-husband is Lu Huaizhuo. What? Lin Yichen's eyes widened in shock, as if he had just heard something utterly terrifying and absurd. In the midst of his disbelief, Tang Su poured out the entire story of her love and hatred with Lu Huaizhuo. Except for the fact that she was suffering from late-stage cancer, she told Lin Yichen almost everything she had endured over the years. She once thought those painful, dark, unbearable memories would never be spoken of again in her lifetime. Yet, opening her heart to someone she trusted turned out to be so easy. By the time Tang Su finished speaking, they had already reached Lu Lane. She lowered her gaze, looking at Lin Yichen, who still wore a stunned expression, and continued. Second young master Lin, Xiao Shun is Lu Huaizuo's child. He simply misunderstands me too deeply to believe the truth. As for Lin Yan, he's your real older sister. Believe me if you want to. If not, just take my words as the ramblings of a madwoman. Second young master Lin, I know you've treated me well, and I'm truly grateful. But we can't be together. It's not just because of Lu Huaizuo, there's also Lin Yan. We're not meant to be. So, Evalivio. Lin Yichen stubbornly pulled Tang Su into his arms. Su, there's no such thing as not meant to be. Others don't matter. I love you. I want to be with you. Even if mountains and oceans stood between us, I wouldn't fear it. Su, don't keep rejecting me. Give me a chance to take care of you, please. Tears welled up in Tang Su's eyes. She never expected Lin Yichen to love her this deeply. She lifted her face to look at him, her lashes trembling with tears. In life, meeting a man who genuinely cared for her was incredibly rare. She wanted to be with Lin Yichen. She really did. In the first half of her life, she had loved Lu Huaizuo like a moth drawn to flame, exhausting herself completely. Repeated doubts, repeated hurts, even the deepest love could be worn away. She desperately wanted to find a man who would unconditionally trust and support her. Even if she didn't love him now, she'd be willing to try. Time could fade everything, but it could also turn an ordinary affection into something unforgettable. If she stayed with Lin Yichen, she would eventually fall in love with him. He was so good. They had a lifetime ahead. Why couldn't they have a love that lasted until death? Unfortunately, she no longer had the time to grow old with him. Her life was nearly over. That's why she couldn't hold him back. Second young master, Su, don't rush to refuse me. Lin Yichen gently smoothed Tang Su's slightly disheveled long hair. Su, I can wait. No matter how long, I'll wait. So don't say no yet. Let me wait for you to see how good I am. Without giving Tang Su another chance to refuse, Lin Yichen gently kissed her forehead, then quickly turned and left. Tang Su stared blankly at his retreating figure, murmuring softly as if in a dream. Second young master, I've always known you're a good person. I've always known. Deep in the night, Lu Huaizuo stood in the shadows, his entire being emanating coldness. His dark, deep eyes flickered with violent rage. At the memory of Lin Yichen kissing Tang Su on the forehead, he clenched his fist and slammed it hard against the wall in front of him. Blood dripped from his knuckles, but he didn't feel a thing. Earlier in the restroom, he had forced himself on Tang Su because he had been utterly enraged. As a child, he had been kidnapped by criminals for several years and suffered from severe autism. He was obsessive, twisted, violent. His mind wasn't as healthy as a normal person's. Later, thanks to the efforts of his father Lu Tingchen and mother Yi Wei, his condition improved somewhat. But after being betrayed by Tang Su, his state worsened. He could remain composed in front of others, but around Tang Su, he always lost control involuntarily. Thinking of Tang Su curled up helplessly in the corner, he grew uneasy and came to check on her. But when he arrived, he saw her intimately talking with Lin Yichen downstairs, as if no one else existed. And Lin Yichen had kissed her. Even after what happened between them tonight, he still dared to kiss her. Lu Huaizuo sneered coldly. The last trace of concern in his eyes vanished completely, replaced only by ruthless, icy cruelty. Tang Su certainly knew how to charm men, truly impressive. Worthy of his admiration. Why should he worry about such a woman? To him, she was nothing more than a fickle, promiscuous woman. Beyond that, she was worthless. As soon as Tang Su returned to her small apartment, she took a shower. But no matter how hard she scrubbed her body, the humiliating, degrading marks remained. Unable to wash them away, she gave up wasting her energy. She changed into clean clothes and prepared to go to the hospital to stay with Xiao Shun. Picking up her bag from the table, just as she was about to leave, her legs suddenly went weak, so weak she could barely lift them. Tang Su collapsed onto the sofa. This time, it took her over 10 minutes before she managed to stand up again. When she was little, she had accompanied her mother Yao Shuhui to visit a relative suffering from cancer. She was young then and couldn't clearly remember exactly what kind of cancer the relative had. But she vividly remembered how pitiful the relative looked lying in bed. Conditions were primitive back then. Few people used adult diapers. The relative's children had cut a hole in the bed to make it easier for her to relieve herself. Underneath the bed sat a large metal basin filled with her waste, mixed with copious amounts of blood and clots. Tang Su recalled Yao Shui telling her that the relative, in the final stage of cancer, had internal organs slowly rotting away. The blood and clots in the basin where the decaying remains expelled from inside her. The blood and clots in the basin where the decaying remains expelled from inside her. Once all the organs rotted away, death would follow. Tang Su knew that such a tragic, hopeless existence was drawing closer to her every day. Pressing hard on her abdomen, she swallowed 2 painkillers before stepping out of the apartment. As soon as she arrived at the hospital, she received a call from Linny Chen. He said there was an urgent matter in France and he had to go immediately. It would take several days before he returned. Hearing that Linny Chen was leaving the country, Tang Su felt both relieved and strangely sad. Perhaps, after the separation, their next meeting would be in the next life. Pushing down these melancholic emotions, Tang Su opened the door and entered Xiao Shin's Xingfeng. Xiao Shin was still awake, sitting on the bed, staring blankly at several large red envelopes. Only then did Tang Su remember he had received many red envelopes tonight. Only then did Tang Su remember he had received many red envelopes tonight. She didn't pretend to refuse them. With the money from the envelopes, they now had just enough for Xiao Shin's surgery. She was deeply grateful to Linny Chen. The debt, both financial and emotional, that she owed him, she would never repay in this life. Before she died, she would tell Qin Mayan, after the organization that took her body paid the remaining 100,000 yuan, used several 10,000 to thank him. The rest would go to Qin Mayan and Xiao Shin. Xiao Shin was easy to comfort. After Tang Su told him a few stories, he drifted into a deep sleep. Leaning over the bed, Tang Su was just about to close her eyes for a moment when a sharp pain shot through the back of her neck. Then, she collapsed into heavy unconsciousness. Kidnap Xiao Shin and demand ransom. Tang Su hadn't been unconscious for long. When she woke up, it was still a quiet, deep night. There were no stars in the sky tonight. Even with the neon lights flashing outside on the street, the glow carried an indescribable loneliness and desolation. Instinctively, Tang Su rubbed her still painful neck. As she opened her eyes, she suddenly realized something terribly wrong. Xiao Shin was gone. This hospital room had 3 beds, but the other 2 patients had been discharged yesterday. Only Xiao Shin remained. Now, the room was empty. Except for her, there was no one else. Xiao Shin! Tang Su rushed quickly to the restroom. He wasn't there. A terrible, awful thought began forming in her mind, one that made her chest ache uncontrollably. She opened her mouth, unable to breathe from the pain. She clutched her heart tightly, forcing herself not to cry. She kept telling herself over and over, don't panic. Maybe Xiao Shin just went out for a walk to get some fresh air. But deep down, she knew the truth. Xiao Shin was in grave danger. Xiao Shin was such a well-behaved child. In the middle of the night, he would never wander off and make her worry. And clearly, she had been knocked unconscious. Someone must have drugged or hit her just to take Xiao Shin away. Tang Su ran back and forth through the hallway several times, but still found no sign of Xiao Shin. Remembering that the hospital had surveillance cameras, she didn't hesitate and immediately sought out the duty nurse, demanding to see the security footage. But tragically, she discovered that the hospital's monitoring system had malfunctioned tonight. There was no way for her to find out who had taken Xiao Shin. Tang Su wasn't stupid. She knew instantly this wasn't a coincidence. The broken surveillance was deliberate, done so someone could take Xiao Shin without being noticed. But she couldn't understand. Her Xiao Shin was so sweet, so innocent, he'd never hurt anyone. Why would someone do this to him? Right, she needed to call the police. Trembling, Tang Su pulled out her phone. Just as she was about to dial emergency services, her phone rang urgently. It was an unknown number. Without thinking, she answered immediately. Tang Su. The voice on the phone was a strange man's, deep, hoarse, clearly malicious. You took Xiao Shin, didn't you? Where is he now? Give my son back to me right now. That's correct. He's in my hands, the man said with an evil laugh. But if you want me to return him, it won't be easy. I went through great trouble to catch him. How could I let go of such a fat lamb without getting some benefits? What do you want? Tang Su hated this feeling of helplessness more than anything, but for Xiao Shin's sake, she had to grit her teeth and compromise. Just tell me what you want. As long as you don't hurt Xiao Shin, I'll give you anything you ask for. Since you're so cooperative, I'll be direct. I want 10 million yuan. The man paused briefly, then sneered mockingly. Deliver 10 million by tomorrow evening. Otherwise, prepare yourself to identify your precious son's corpse. Oh, of course, you can report this to the police. Don't worry, if you do, I'll kill your son immediately. By tomorrow evening, 10 million yuan. Tang Su covered her mouth, sobbing. In such a short time, where could she possibly get so much money? In such a short time, where could she possibly get so much money? As if reading her thoughts, the man chuckled coldly. Tang Su, I suggest you raise the 10 million quickly. The later you deliver it, the less of your son will remain. What do you mean? Tang Su gripped the phone tightly, her voice trembling. You still don't understand? The man laughed cruelly. If you have the money ready by 8 p.m. the day after tomorrow, call me and I'll give you the location. If you fail to come up with the money, for every hour past 8 p.m., I'll chop off one part of your son's body. 10 fingers, 10 toes, both hands and both feet. That's 24 hours of fun. And if you still haven't paid by then, well, there are eyes, nose, ears. I can play slowly. Tang Su trembled all over. Terrified that the man might harm Xiao Shun, she cried desperately, I'll get the money. I'll find a way. Please, don't hurt Xiao Shun. I beg you, don't hurt him. But the man didn't respond. With a sinister laugh, he hung up. After the call ended, Tang Su collapsed completely, drained of all strength. She fell to the floor, staring blankly at her left hand, the little finger missing. The pain of having her finger cut off, agonizing, unbearable, had happened just a few days ago, yet she still couldn't forget it. If even she couldn't endure that kind of pain, how could her Xiao Shun, so young and fragile, possibly survive it? No, she absolutely couldn't let her son suffer such hellish torment. No matter the cost, she would save her Xiao Shun. Raising 10 million yuan in less than 2 days was nearly impossible. But no matter how hard it was, for Xiao Shun, she had to fight with everything she had. Recently, Lin Chen had already helped her so much. Tang Su felt too ashamed to ask him again. Yet she knew clearly, right now, the only person wealthy enough and willing to lend her money was him. She had saved Lin Chen's number. Frantically, she pulled it up and called. But one after another, each call went unanswered. Only a robotic female voice replied. Sorry, the number you dialed is currently switched off. Of course, Lin Chen had rushed abroad on urgent business. He was probably on a plane right now. Even when he landed, with his busy schedule and the vast distance between them, contacting him wouldn't be easy. She could only turn to Lu Huaizhua. Tang Su bit her lip hard, suppressing the humiliation and bitterness in her heart, and pressed Lu Huaizhua's number. The phone rang for a long time before finally being answered. A careless, heavily disdainful voice came through. Tang Su, what do you want now? Ozhua, Xiao Shun has been kidnapped. Kidnapped? Ha! Lu Huaizhua sneered coldly. And the kidnappers are demanding money for his release? So now you're calling me to borrow money? Before Tang Su could speak, he continued icily. Tang Su, you'd lie about anything just to get money. Ozhua, I'm not lying. Xiao Shun really has been kidnapped. The kidnappers are demanding 10 million yuan. If I can't deliver the money by 8 p.m. tomorrow they'll... Her throat tightened. With every ounce of strength, Tang Su forced out the words. For every hour I'm late, they'll chop off one of Xiao Shun's fingers. Ozhua, please save Xiao Shun. Azuo, you really are cruel. Even if that bastard child really has been kidnapped. Lu Huaizhua's voice was cold and brutally sharp. What does it have to do with me? With those words, he hung up the phone. What does it have to do with me? Tang Su stared blankly at her darkening phone screen. Her body suddenly trembled violently. Her legs instantly lost all strength. Even as she clung tightly to the nearby hospital bed, she couldn't stand. Her vision blurred by tears welling in her eyes. Tang Su's consciousness began to haze over. In a daze, it seemed as though someone whispered tenderly in her ear. He said, Susu, you and our child are my heart and soul. I will spend my entire life loving what means most to me. But now, they were no longer his heart and soul, just something that had nothing to do with him. Azuo, you really are cruel. Tang Su knew that if her broken body collapsed now, she might never rise again. So even if she bit her teeth to pieces, she would force herself to stand straight. Intense waves of pain swept through her body, invasive and relentless. The moment she forced herself upright, she felt as if she were walking on thorns, or through a storm of blades and arrows, all of them piercing into her flesh. She called Lu Huaizhua again, but this time he didn't answer. Staring blankly at the bustling traffic outside for a while, she decided to go straight to Qianshui Bay to find him. Even if Tang Su and dogs not allowed, tonight she absolutely had to see him. Once she made up her mind, Tang Su wasted no time. She grabbed her handbag and hurried downstairs. When she reached the door of her hospital room, she suddenly remembered something. She quickly turned back, snatched the fruit knife from the bedside table, then left the room again. She knew how much Lu Huaizhua hated her. In his eyes, she was his mortal enemy, someone he wished to slice into 1,000 pieces. In his eyes, she was his mortal enemy, someone he wished to slice into 1,000 pieces. So tonight, she would give him the chance to tear her apart. So long as she could get 10 million to save Xiao Shun, she'd surrender her life to him. She only hoped he'd leave her with one breath, so she could use the money to rescue Xiao Shun, and then hand her life over to him afterward. Winter in Haicheng rarely brought snow, but this year was strange. It hadn't even been long since winter began, yet several snowfalls had already occurred. There had been no snow when she left the hospital entrance, but by the time she arrived at Qianshui Bay, heavy snow was falling. Outside Qianshui Bay, lights flickered like daylight. Outside Qianshui Bay, lights flickered like daylight. Thanks to the bright illumination, she could once again see the sign on the villa gate. Tang Su and dogs not allowed. Haha, not bad. When she died, let this sign be her epitaph. Her body felt weak and limp, barely able to move. Leaning against the wall for support, she managed to press the intercom button outside the villa. She kept pressing for over 10 minutes, yet no one came to open the door. Just as she thought the villa gates would remain closed to her tonight, the door suddenly opened. The villa's ganja stood emotionlessly at the entrance. Go in. Thank you. Tang Su, ecstatic, staggered toward the villa interior. But her raised lips hadn't held their smile for 2 seconds before drooping bitterly again. Miss Tang, when you see Miss Lin Yan, don't forget to thank her properly. Mr. Liu said he wouldn't allow a dog inside to bite people, but it was Miss Lin Yan who pleaded for you. That's why Mr. Liu finally relented. The ganja continued coldly. Miss Tang, I suggest you show some decency. Don't come disturbing people late at night anymore. Mr. Liu said every time he sees you, he feels like vomiting for days. Now that you've come tonight, he'll probably vomit again. After that, Tang Su heard nothing more the ganja said. One single thought filled her mind now. Lin Yan was here. Of course. He divorced her just so he could officially marry Lin Yan. They were so deeply in love. How could they not live together? With Lin Yan present, asking him for money tonight would be even harder. Sure enough, the moment she entered the living room, Tang Su saw Lin Yan sitting there in a white silk nightgown. Lin Yan already had a perfect figure, and the slightly sheer nightgown accentuated her curves beautifully, making her irresistibly alluring. Lin Yan warmly invited Tang Su to sit down, acting every inch the mistress of the house. Sister, what brings you here so late? Lin Yan pushed the fruit platter toward Tang Su. Actually, sister, I'm happy you came to see me. But late at night like this, it's really quite inconvenient. You know, Huaizhua and I just finished being intimate, and he still wanted. Lin Yan lightly covered her mouth, blushing coquettishly. Can you believe it? Outside, he's as cold as ice, but in bed he's insatiable. When I heard you were here, I wanted to come down and take a look. This time I stopped him, so now he's sulking like a child, locking himself in the room and ignoring me. Sister, what do you need from Huaizhua? Just tell me quickly, so I can go upstairs soon and comfort him properly. Lin Yan leaned delicately against the sofa behind her. I was hoping to sleep well tonight, but now it seems I won't be getting any rest until Huaizhua is satisfied. Honestly, Huaizhua gets so wild whenever he sees me. It's like he turns into a wolf. Men, none of them are serious. Right now, Tang Su only cared about getting 10 million. She had no time to play games with Lin Yan or pretend at fake sisterly affection. She glanced coldly at Lin Yan and said flatly, Lin Yan, I need to see Azuo. Sister, it's not that I won't help you. It's just that Azuo truly doesn't want to see you. You saw the sign on the door. He didn't even want to let you in. Don't keep humiliating yourself like this. Sister, I'm Azuo's fiancé. We're getting married soon. Anything you have to say, you can tell me instead. Lu Huaizhua was unlikely to lend Tang Su money, but Lin Yan was even less likely to. Tang Su didn't want to waste another second. She lifted her chin and shouted toward the upper floor. Azuo, come out. I need to talk to you. Lu Huaizhua, come out here. Sister, please stop embarrassing yourself. Azuo won't come out. Sister. Bang. Tang Su slammed the fruit knife from her bag onto the coffee table in front of her. Azuo, come out. I know you hate me. Come out. If you do, kill me or cut me up, I won't resist. But if you don't come out, I'll kill Lin Yan right now. A flash of resolve crossed Tang Su's mind. Ignoring Lin Yan's shock, she quickly pulled out the fruit knife and pressed it tightly against Lin Yan's chest. Azuo, just kill me. Tang Su's movements were actually a bit slow. Lin Yan could have easily dodged just now, but for some dark, shameful reason, she didn't. Tang Su hadn't originally intended to take Lin Yan hostage, but now it seemed this was the best way to get the money. Lu Huaizhua's heart was harder than she had imagined. If he truly wanted Xiaoshen to die, even if she died here today, he wouldn't pay a single cent to save him. Since he cared so much about Lin Yan, perhaps threatening her life would force him to compromise.